Okay, so we are live, and I've got something really cool today. I've got the Superpowers Black Manta figure. I was kind of worried I might not find this one because I was hearing he was going to be a Walmart exclusive, and it seems like all the WalMarts at in my area are kind of backed up with that Wonder Woman, Deathstroke, Nightwing wave. In fact, the one I bought this at, like all they had left was of those was just the Wonder Woman figures and the Batman Who Laughs figures. So they sold through all the Nightwings and all the Deathstrokes over there at least. So I got this guy, and also uh, got Aquaman. I actually got him last week, but didn't get around to doing an unboxing of him. I definitely needed to get Black Manta because, like I said, he's supposed to be a Walmart exclusive. Aquaman, I figured I could probably get him on Amazon later if I missed out on him at Walmart, but he was still there when I went over there this week. In fact, they still had a few Aquaman figures. So I'm thinking either they short packed Black Manta, which is possible, or just he was popular enough that he sold through all those figures. So I got a nice piece of artwork there. Looks like it's by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. So even though it's not a vintage piece of artwork, I believe this is, it looks more like his modern stuff, but it does still, I think, fit in with the Superpowers aesthetic just enough. The logo is also clearly a more modern logo, but it looks to me like a logo from like the pre New 52 era when they were still putting some effort into making these logos look cool. Not where it's just like we just use some random font and kind of stretched it out a little bit. Like I don't really like modern comic book logos so much. I'm sorry, they're just kind of lazy to me. But this one looks more like they put some effort into it. It's definitely the aesthetic of like you know late 1990s or later, but definitely pre New 52. So I think it's pretty good. And then we got the cross cell on the back, and obviously this was before the more recent wave. But we got Superman, Darkseid, Batman from Hush. We got Green Lantern, John Stewart. We got the Flash. We got the Batman Who Laughs. We got Wonder Woman. We got Nightwing. We got Deathstroke. We got Aquaman. We got Black Manta. We got Batman. We got Robin Drake and another Wonder Woman. So, and then the Batmobile, which I don't have yet, and the Invisible Jet, which you can see my review of that. I already put that up a few weeks back. So, one of the better vehicles, I think. I like the Invisible Jet. I like the Batwing. Those are the two best ones, I think, so far. So let's go ahead and read the bio on the back. And it says, considered one of Aquaman's greatest enemies, Black Manta has a singular hatred for the King of Atlantis. Black Manta has always inflicted a special kind of pain upon his archenemy, cementing his reputation as one of the most ruthless and driven criminals in DC history. And now I don't like that. I kind of feel like they should do these bios as if he was a real person, not bring up the fact that he's a fictional character in the DC universe. So also another thing I'd like to point out is like there's definitely a comic book drawing of him on there. You see he's not wearing a belt, but the figure is wearing a belt. And sharp-eyed viewers will definitely realize that this design is very much based on his design from Super Friends, from Challenge of the Super Friends, which would have been how I would have first seen Black Manta. So I approve of this design. However, I got to imagine there are some comic book purists, and I don't blame them on this, who would rather Black Manta be wearing a black costume as he wore it in the comic book. But I gotta figure Mcfarlane's probably planning on doing a repaint somewhere on down the line. Hopefully, I would think if they did the same mold, but take off the belt, which I'm pretty sure it's going to be a separate piece anyway. This same mold, but all in black with like a gunmetal gray helmet with some red eyes. I think that would look really cool. So anyway, let's go ahead and open them up because I've wanted a Superpowers Black Manta figure since the 80s. So it only took like 40 years. And the glue on this one is really loose. You can see parts where it's not even glued. Like look at the sheen there. That's glue didn't even touch it there. So there's a little bit of glue here, a little bit of glue here, a little bit of glue here, Little bit glue up here at the logo. That's it. So I was actually gonna buy a second blue and gray Batman because I like that figure so much. I was gonna buy one just to keep it in the package. But when I got to the register at Walmart that day, like the thing was practically falling off already. So yeah, that wound up not being a thing that happened. Otherwise, you'd see I'm hanging on the wall back there somewhere right now because I really like that figure. Anyway, go ahead and pull them out. No little annoying rubber bands or rubber tabs or twist ties or anything like that. He just came right out. So, all right, let's have a look at him. And it looks like it's going to have our traditional superpowers articulation. I wish I'd thought to get the Flash off the shelf because I'm pretty sure that this one reuses a lot of parts. Not all of them, but a lot of parts from the Flash. Definitely not the same torso because the bottom part of the helmet is actually one solid piece with the torso, the neck stem of this mushroom-shaped helmet. So let's go ahead and have a look at his articulation. First of all, his head turns from side to side, but it does not rotate all the way around because he's got these hoses that attach from the top of his helmet to the top of his backpack. So you can only turn his head so far, but it's still like a really good range of motion because you can turn it around like a lot further than he would be able to naturally turn his head anyway. So that's good. He does have the backpack molded onto his, it was glued onto his back. It is not the same piece as the torso, but it is a separate piece, but it is glued on there. It's not going to come off. So, yep, it's on there really solid. And I was right. This belt is indeed a separate piece that they just kind of glued around his waist. So they probably could leave this off if they wanted to do their black repaint. So arms rotate all the way around, not even encumbered by that large helmet or the hoses. So legs go up about that far, knees bend about that far, and the legs even bend backwards that far. So you do have, as far as like a 1980s style figure, this is a good range of articulation. So it might not seem too impressive these days with like the multiverse figures Mcfarlane puts out, or your G.I. Joe classifieds, your Marvel Legends, anything like that. Any of the He-Man figures Mattel's putting out right now, all those have great articulation. But this is a simple 80s style of articulation, and he moves very simply. So, but for the 80s, this would have been really good articulation because you would have had that knee articulation, and that was uncommon on figures in the 80s. Only G.I. Joe had better articulation than Superpowers, and I think only Kenner's own Mask figures also had the knee articulation like that. But most it was just like straight legs that moved up and down like Star Wars, or the weird sort of rubber joints the He-Mans had, like the thick rubber band in between the thighs. So, but yeah, I really like the colors on it. Like I said, very reminiscent of his appearance on the Superpowers, or I'm sorry, the Super Friends cartoon series, with that kind of dark bluish purple, dark purplish blue, however you want to look at it. Indigo. That's the correct name of that color. I got a black belt with a light blue buckle, kind of that light bluish gray. Matches up with the color on the helmet. You notice like the lower part of the helmet. I don't know if it's coming across that clear on the camera, but the neck part of the helmet is like a slightly darker shade of bluish, grayish, purplish color. Excuse me. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how he turned out. I'm hoping we'll get to see a lot more classic DC villains in this line. It would be really cool to see Sinestro and Captain Cold, because I know those were ones I really wanted to have when I was a kid also. I know that Reverse Flash is coming, so that'll give us at least one more. But that's a no-brainer. If you've got the Flash, like I don't see any reason why you shouldn't do a Reverse Flash figure, because it's the same figure. Just the same figure, only now he's molded in red, or molded in yellow instead of red, and he's got the boots and the lightning trim painted in red instead of yellow. And there's your Reverse Flash. Easy. If you got a Flash figure, you need to make a Reverse Flash figure. That's it. But I'd love to see Captain Cold. I'd love to see Sinestro. I'd love to see the entire Legion of Doom. Give me Solomon Grundy. Give me Giganta. You know, give me Cheetah, Toyman, all of them. You know, the Riddler. You got to do the Riddler. He's a Batman villain. He's a Batman villain, and you could even do like the South American. I forget what country it was, but you know where they did the where they just repainted Green Lantern to be the Riddler. You can do that. Just you already got a Green Lantern figure. You know, granted it doesn't have the Hal Jordan head sculpt. But you're going to want to make a Hal Jordan eventually anyway. Maybe this time Hal can be a repaint of Edward Nygma instead of the other way around. So anyway, that's pretty much it for this one. Again, fairly short video like it usually is with the superpowers, but that doesn't mean that it's not a great figure. So, and definitely worth picking up if you find him. We will talk to you next time. Bye.